Thanks for having us on again, Alex. I I think, like for us, I think Bitcoin was probably a really big catalyst on just like getting into it because I can't speak for Ben, but I was sort of into Austrian economics before I found Bitcoin. But I don't think I really understood money. And when you first find out about Bitcoin and you kind of just dig into it sort of at the surface level and you're like trying to understand how anything could go from being worth, a few pennies to worth thousands of dollars years later. And you're trying to like understand, okay, like why, but like why do people want this thing? And really it was digging into the history of money for us, and then really digging deep on a lot of Austrian economics, in particular, trying to understand money and looking back through the history of money and like seeing, wow, like things really kind of went off the rails in 1971, and seeing chart after chart after chart of economic data with a huge inflection point in 1971. And Ben and I, like, we really buck the mainstream economic narrative, which is that most of that was caused by peak oil and then Reagan deregulation in the 1980s. And really, there isn't a whole lot of mainstream consensus outside of the Austrian circle that points to the suspension of Bretton Woods as really all that economically significant. Like a lot of people sort of brush it off as a non-issue. Like, oh yeah, we left the gold standard, but we had to do that. I mean, that was for the best, right? That's sort of the dominant narrative. So for us, I think it started out as like, well, wouldn't it be great if we just had one place we could point people to and say, but yeah, but like, look at this data. Like, you can't tell me there's not something compelling about these macro trends. And it kind of evolved into a meme from there. Like the meme was really sticky right off the beginning, and Ben and I sort of decided like we need to meme this as much as possible, right? Like we have to kind of get this into the collective consciousness outside of people who just like nerds who read Rothbard all day.